8th at 6 p.m. We are at the District Service Center in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the land of the Mdewakanton Dakota people. Mdewakanton means dwellers of the Spirit Lake. Our first item on the agenda is roll call. Dana?
Ryan Clark.
Here.
Sharon Van Leer is absent. Eric Tesmer.
Here.
Pat Driscoll is absent. Melinda Doles.
Here.
Simi Petnaik.
Here.
Tenny Allen.
Here.
E-Ray Fajolu.
Here.
Stephanie Abrokwa.
Here.
Katie Schwartz.
Here. 2.0, Pledge of Allegiance, please stand.
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, 3.0 is approval of the agenda. Can I get an motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Melinda, seconded by Simi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 4.0, student ambassadors, and that will be presented by our superintendent, Julie Nielsen.
We are excited. It's always a great day in at District Service Center when we have our students come down, and so we had our full ambassador crew, and so maybe 5 hours ago, our students filled the space, and so tonight we have 3 individuals, an elementary student, a middle school, and a high school student. I'm going to start by introducing or having our elementary student introduce herself. So Tenny, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your school?
My name is Tenny, and I go to Valley Crossing Elementary School.
Okay. And Tenny, do you want to talk about what grade you're in?
I'm in 5th grade.
Fabulous. And so Tenny's going to share with the board right now, what do you enjoy most about being a student leader?
What I enjoy most is being like a leader and being a role model.
Mm-hmm. And so in your classroom right now, do you find that you have opportunities to do that?
Yeah.
And in what ways?
Like I get, every single time I come back, I get to share like what we did, and also like when we meet for like our school, like I also get to share that too.
Okay, fabulous. And so one of the questions we talk a lot about as part of our strategic plan is just student voice and what student experience is. And so if you could share what motivates you to learn.
What motivates me to learn is like, I actually really like learning, but I like how it's like fun and how it will like make a positive impact on my future.
Mm-hmm. And right now in your classroom, you're in a combination class, is that correct? Do you want to talk a little bit about what that looks like, or multi-age class, what that looks like at Valley Crossing?
Yeah, I have 4th and 5th graders in my class, so that's pretty fun because I can have, like, I'm able to be in a class with 4th and 5th graders, and I have friends in both grades.
Mm-hmm. Fabulous. And what is one positive experience that you've had this school year?
Well, I like, one positive experience I've had is coming here, like, every other month.
So the kids really look forward to coming here, and I think some of it as they have gotten more comfortable. Their first bus ride was quiet.
Yeah, very quiet.
Very quiet. Their first meeting was quiet, and now they've gotten to know each other, and so it is a lot more fun. And if you could create a class or program for kids, what would it be?
It'd definitely be like a baking or like cooking class. I really like experimenting with food.
Fabulous. She also wants to share a little bit about a couple of our meetings. So she said that she'd like to share a little bit about when we had nutrition services come and we got to do some taste testing. It's always a kid favorite.
Yeah, my favorite part was definitely like tasting the slushies. They were super good.
And today, did you get the healthy snacks, the smart snacks and nutrition services? Did you pick up a package of those?
Yeah.
Did you try any of them?
Yeah, I did. I tried, what did I try? I tried the raisins because they were actually pretty good. I don't even like raisins, so.
So as the students did the tour today, they got to pick up different little treats, mostly stickers and pencils, right, kids? Stickers and pencils. But back in our nutrition services area, they had some smart snacks, and they were raisins, but they tasted more like sour gummy worms or something like that. Mm-hmm. And how do I know that? Because I had a bag too. So they were delicious. And then finally, today our students got to take a look behind the scenes at what happens here at District Service Center. And so Tenny, maybe just to wrap up, what did you see today? What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was definitely like the technology room with like all the wires and internet stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and what about the floor? What did you learn about the floor in our technology space?
Like air vents like in the floor, and there's also some wires.
Yep. So the floor, they actually take it and they lift it up and they can see the air conditioning. Was it cool or hot in there? Cool. Yeah, because all of our technology equipment needs to stay cool, and if it starts to get hot, alarms start to go off, right? Yes, they do. All right, we're going to move on. I don't know about this next friend. I'm just going to tell you what we know about kids is the longer they're with us, the more personality they show. And this one, she's a smiley. She was really engaged today with Dr. Brookins and the group, right? E-Ray? E-Ray, do you want to go ahead and start by introducing yourself? And then she knows she gets to be independent with her questions, so go ahead.
My name is Ire. I go to Cottage Grove Middle School, and I'm in 7th grade. And my favorite subject would be math.
Okay.
And what I enjoy probably most about being a student leader would be like definitely the student experience that I hear about, and I can go and share them with people at my school so that we can all make the school a better place. And really something interesting that went on at our school is that we got AVID certified, and I actually was one of the AVID greeters, so I did get to see some people here at the District Service Center. And what motivates me to learn is definitely remembering all the privileges that I have or that I might not have if I didn't have an education. And the best experience of my school year was the Spirit Weeks. And a program that I would want to create at all the different schools would be like a business program.
And so, Ira, I'm going to close you out by asking you, what was your favorite part of the tour today, and maybe what were a couple of things that you learned about kind of the behind the scenes?
My favorite part was the warehouse because I really like to see all the boxes, and then right before that we went to the printing area and I got to see some prints going to my teachers.
So they got to see like how we have 3 big printing machines and how their teachers' requests come in, and then once they get printed, they go into a little bin. The bin goes into the truck goes out to the school, and then we keep this process going. So yes, they got to see a lot of things. I think it's interesting that you liked the warehouse. If anybody were to go back in our warehouse, you know that it's kind of the messiest. We've got stuff everywhere, but you like that. I'm glad. All right. Stephanie, we're going to move on to you.
Hi, everyone. My name's Stephanie Obrokwa. I'm currently a junior at Woodbury High School, and my current favorite subject would probably be AP Bio. Being a student leader, I enjoy a lot of like communicating with people and just like listening to other people's perspectives on different issues. And I also like learn like a lot about our district and like the numerous departments that we have in this building, especially today. And then something interesting that's been going on in my school is that there have been like a lot of recent discussions about like the period and feminine hygiene products being provided in our bathrooms. And while students do appreciate them, a lot of students do have concerns about the quality of the period products. So for reference, I actually brought one with me. This is what it looks like. Yeah, so a lot of students do have a lot of concerns, and we literally brought this up at our Woodbury High School ambassadors meeting about 2 weeks ago. And while we do understand that the school board is not responsible for what like determines what is being brought up into the schools, we just wanted to bring it to you guys as a community concern, so that you are aware of what is being provided in the bathrooms and student concern and just student thoughts about it. And then what a lot of students rather favored, or what I found, is like what was being provided in the nurse's office. Like these are the pads being provided in the nurse's office. And then we also have these tampons. And a lot of students really like these and like would prefer these in the public restrooms rather than just in the nurse's office, as opposed to the one I previously showed.
And as Stephanie goes on, just to preface that we knew that concern had come up at Woodbury High School. And so certainly we will be taking a look at it, but I think the board is aware that that was a piece of new legislation that just came into play, and that had to be implemented by January 1st. And so you're right, it's probably not the quality that our students might even use. We do know that we still have some concerns and problems with those products getting stuck to mirrors or flushed down toilets, and so we're trying to figure out the balance of how those things are used, but certainly a concern as it relates to quality. So Stephanie, I'll let you go on, and we appreciate you bringing that forward.
Thank you. On like a lighter note, at my school, we with being a thing going on right now, our Muslim Student Association is really doing a good job of implementing that in our school. Every Friday, we actually have prayer meetings in like the lecture hall, and we actually recently had prayer mats donated to our school, which is also really helpful for a lot of the Muslim students at our school. Yeah, that was all I really wanted to talk about. Thank you.
Stephanie, do you want to add anything from your perspective as an older student about what you saw on your tour today and what you learned about the school district?
Oh yeah, I learned about like all of the different stations in the school building here. Honestly, I didn't realize there was so many because I kind of just usually just come to this room. But I really like the communications aspect of it because I got to see like how like they make the posters that we see in the school and like the graphic design that goes into that, as well as like the emails that are being sent out, and also the photography part I thought was kind of interesting as well. I also really like the nutrition services again because of like those raisins. They reminded me of elementary school. They had those in elementary school, and I like that.
Fabulous. Thank you. And thank you to our students. As the board knows, and for viewers at home, each meeting, our students get to sign up. And so they're kind of at will, and they know they're going to be on TV, right, E-Ray? E-Ray didn't quite know how this was all going to work. And so when we told her, like, you know, you're going to talk, she's like, I thought I could just sit by you. Oh, no, you're going to tell your story. So thank you to our 3 students today. And I did tell them that this meeting is hopefully going to be a short meeting. And so it won't be a couple of hours. So thank you again, students, for coming.
Thank you all for coming. Okay, on to 5.0, comments to the board. At this time, individuals may speak to the school board on any item relating to South Washington County Schools. The board will not respond to or discuss your comments. Character abuse or specific complaints identifying staff, students, or task force members will not be permitted. The superintendent may be asked to prepare a response to your concerns. The comments to the board period will be held open for up to 30 minutes in total. Each speaker is permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes in total. The school board will allow up to 3 speakers per topic. At 3 minutes, the microphone will be turned off, and we will move on to the next speaker or next agenda item. We have 2 people signed up tonight. The first one is 9.0, consent items. All consent items are considered routine and non-controversial by the school board and will be approved by a single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. Prior to the meeting, board members have had the opportunity to review each of these items and may request that any item be moved to an action item for individual consideration. That has not happened this evening, so can I entertain a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
That was
Eric.
Eric and Simi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, on to 7.0, that is information items. We don't have any this evening, so we move right on to 8.0, and that is action items. And the first item is 8.1, revised 2023-24 budget, and that is presented by Dan Pine, Executive Director of Finance and Operations.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Schwartz, members of the school board, student members of the school board, and Superintendent Nielsen. Tonight, I'm bringing to you the 23-24 revised budget for approval. We revise our budgets annually. After student counts, federal and state revenues, our allocations are final, and most importantly, after labor expenses are tallied, especially after large contract settlements. And that way, we'll have a better idea how we're going to end up for the year so we can start the next year. We presented this budget to you at the last board meeting, March 14th. We explained the variances from the preliminary budget. And some of the highlights are that, the general fund will show a slight increase in its fund balance. In total, percentage will go down a little bit because the expenses went up so high. Food service budget is looking really good, mainly based on the fact that, we're serving more meals than we ever had in the history of the district. Probably end up about 2.7 million meals served this year. And then, of course, the construction account will look really high because we received the proceeds from the bonds that were approved by the voters, and we're still in the design phase, so we haven't spent a lot of the construction money. So with that, I would ask for the board to approve the revised 23-24 budget.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Can I get a motion to approve the revised budget?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Simi, seconded by Eric. Any comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay, 8.2 is our proposed policy changes, and that will be presented by Julie Nielsen, Superintendent.
Thank you. I'm going to slow it down so it takes a little while with this meeting. I know. First of all, I'm bringing back the policies that we reviewed and revised last week, or 2 weeks ago. You're going to see in there the changes reflect MSBA's model language, grammatical changes, etc. So this evening, I am asking for board approval on 10 policies. And just to note for the board, that would be the removal of policy 507.1 that would then be combined in with policy 417 for a total of 10 policies. While there are 11 on your sheet, we would actually be removing policy 507.1. And so with that, I am asking for approval this evening.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the proposed policy changes?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Melinda, seconded by Simi. Any comments on the policies? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And we'll move on to 9.0, our superintendent report.
Students, I do want you to know that typically they're at least an hour to an hour and a half. So you apparently signed up for the right meeting today. You get to be your little TV time, and then you're done. My update, I have a couple of things on for my update. First of all, weather decisions. As you can imagine, I know, Ryan, you're down there laughing. Can't you make a decision about snow days? Isn't that what your son said?
Yeah, my sons were very disappointed that I'd have the authority to cancel school myself.
And I think they said something, I'm going to find that Mrs. Nielsen. Well, our student ambassadors today, once they realized it was me, they were like, Mrs. Nielsen, if we would have known. Here's the deal. The number of student responses I got, and most were really funny. They said they were doing it in a joking manner, M-A-N-O-R. And I thought, this is why you need to be in school. It's manner, M-A-N-N-E-R. Anyway, I communicated back with them that I love a good old-fashioned snow day as well. And thank you to the many students who reached out to me with their rationale and their whys. I think my favorites are, I just need one more day to study for this test. You know, those always really are, it's just such strong rationale about closing school. But in all reality, it is a big decision when we think about closing school. We think about students that may not have supervision. We think about students that need access to lunch and breakfast. And then at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we can safely transport students from their homes to our schools. And just to give the board and those viewing a little bit of an idea, we have webinars with the National Weather Service. And so the night before, we were online at 7:30 Sunday night getting the update. And what's really cool about the National Weather Service is they can zone into exactly our school district. And what they told us on Sunday night is that the temperatures were going to be about 35 to 36 degrees. Well, I'll be doggone, I'm driving in and it's about 35 to 36 degrees depending upon where I was going. So we knew that even though snow was coming down, the roads were just too warm, the temperatures were too warm. And so then it left us with Tuesday morning, where some of our students said, you can get redemption on Tuesday. You still have time. And again, our buses were back in the bus garage by the time it really started snowing. And then there's always the early release. And it's important for families to know and kids to know that when we talk about early release, we're sometimes talking about sending elementary students who are in that first tier or second tier home without parents and family members there. In addition, we have elementary students that get bused to other daycares. And of course, their child care centers or daycares aren't set up for additional kids at certain times. So we certainly do our best. We take a look at the National Weather Service. We consult with our transportation department. Dan, Sean, and Carrie and I are all on one little thread. We work with Hastings Bus Company because, of course, they provide some of our transportation. We have conversations with our cities and when they're going to be out. We consider if our parking lots are cleared. And then finally, and probably most importantly, is that we actually are out driving the roads. And I think that's what's the biggest part is Carrie's in her vehicle, Dan's in her vehicle, I'm in my vehicle, and we're all driving the roads that our buses will go on to make sure that they're safe. But I'm hoping that we don't get any more snow because I know that I'll have a lot more emails from students. They still are wanting a snow day. Next, the opt-in campaign. Our transportation opt-in campaign for this year ends tomorrow, and that information just went out in our family newsletter. Confirmation of family selection for opting in will be sent to all families in April, and during that time, they will also have the opportunity to change it. And for board members and those viewing, please be reminded that if a parent opts out and for some reason they need transportation, they just need to go in and make those changes. We will be following up with families. To date, we have 12,388 students that have responded to the survey. And so with that, we have opting in of that 12,388. We have almost 9,500 in the morning that have said yes to transportation and 9,700 right now in the afternoon. We've had surveys completed in Spanish, 77 of those, 28 in Chinese, and 5 in Vietnamese. So please, if parents and families have not done the opt-in, please go in and do that or we will be calling. Last week, Dan and I attended the State of the Cities with Cottage Grove, St. Paul Park, and Newport. And it was really nice. Many times when we work with our cities, it's all of our cities kind of individually, but this was really a nice opportunity to have 3 of our cities there with the mayor sharing what's happening in the city in terms of growth and other things happening. So it was just really a nice opportunity to be together with city leaders and business owners. A reminder for the board and those viewing, our Woodbury Expo will be held April 6th at Woodbury High School. And as it relates to Pine Harbor Christian Academy, you were aware that we were talking about a resolution. And after conversation with leadership there, we talked about a couple of things, making sure that when we take a look at 3 drivers, 3 buses, that we work, that he works with our transportation leaders to get it down to 1 bus and 1 driver. That we need a strong opt-in requiring calling to make sure we know exactly who's going to be on the buses. And then finally, as we implement our ridership, we just will be monitoring how many kids are riding from Pine Harbor Christian. And so that meeting is set to be held, I believe, on Monday of this coming week. Is Monday, Scott? Tuesday? Tuesday. I knew it was coming up. We had training this week, so they were unable to get it in. And then a reminder for students, guess what? Tomorrow is a day off. I'm giving you all a day off. So tomorrow is a no staff day and a no student day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to 10.0, future meeting dates. April 11th, we have a school board workshop meeting at 6:30 right here. Immediately following, we have a probably 10-minute meeting that is a business meeting. And then on April 25th will be our normal school board business meeting here at 6 p.m. And with that, 10.0, we are adjourned.